千里之行，始于足下. A journey of 1,000 miles begins beneath the feet. We now gather in the Tao to travel the journey together. Welcome to Tao Talks with Derek Lin, where we take a deep dive into the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu. As always, I would like to extend a warm welcome to one and all. Thank you for joining us. I would like to invite you to center your thoughts and direct your attention to this moment in time, to the here and now, to be fully present and mindfully aware as we all ready ourselves for this sacred process in the Tao with one another. Now, the sages, even though they hold the left part, people owe them, they don't collect on it, whereas many people that we encounter from day to day are definitely collecting past favors done for other people. Now, the sages believe, as you can see here, they want people to help other people. So this is the ancient Chinese expression of the idea to pay it forward. The ancient Chinese equivalent. We see pay it forward today. We think that it might be new, it might be uniquely Western. It is not. It's human nature. It's a good thing to do. And what we see in chapter 79 probably is historically the first clear expression of the same idea. Probably the very first expression in history. Pay it forward. So here's how it can look using the picture that I shared with everyone, where the sage is holding the left part of the contract, metaphorical contract, and the person who came to the sage for help, who has been helped, holding the right part, and therefore the obligation to repay. The sage will say, you don't need to do that. What I would like you to do is to go out there and help other people. And if that person understands, that person will proceed with others, again, with the metaphorical contracts, holding the left part, helping other people, while other people hold the right part, being helped. So the sage not only provides the assistance, but also explains the Tao that this should be done. The person who was helped might have been inspired by the Tao and therefore emulate the sage, help other people in the same way, and hopefully inspire other people in turn. This can be very powerful. This can multiply even more. And if they, in turn, help other people, then you can imagine that it won't even fit in this slide anymore. And there's yet another factor. People aren't just taking actions to help others. That alone is a good thing. But it's not just the action of helping. People will also talk about this thing that's going on. That is, the stories of people helping people was spread. And when others hear about what's happening, they may be inspired. They themselves may initiate their own pay it forward just like this. So the effect can multiply pretty quickly. This is a recurring pattern in life. In the Tao, that's what we focus on. What are the recurring patterns in life? What can we learn from them? This works also because to pay it forward like this, to help other people, it speaks to the highest self within us. there is a conscience, there is the best part of you that upon hearing examples of this cannot help but feel motivated, inspired to take action. Because of the widespread impact, I often think of this not as this sequence that you see here, sort of like a expanding structure from the left to the right, because of the effect of communication, because we human beings talk to one another, because we talk about the things we find interesting. I see it more in terms of ripples, multiple ripples in a pond. And some ripples, upon hitting the edge of the pond, will be reflected back. So multiple ripples results. This speaks to the basic idea that we're all connected with one another. Therefore, everything we do has an effect on other people. Something that happens in one end of the pond has an effect on the other end, even though that effect may be tiny or unnoticeable, it's still there. Oftentimes, the ripples that we generate in life are not significant enough to be noticeable by many others. But when we follow the Tao, we begin to see how to create ripple effects that is of benefit to many people, that a ripple effect that has a farther reach and a longer lasting duration. And once in a while, people who don't know the Tao can also create a ripple effect that affects many, has a very long reach and long-lasting duration. Occasionally, we get to witness such things, and it really restores one's faith in humanity. I have sampled some true stories from all over the world, all around the country. For instance, there is a pizza shop where the customers have the option, whenever they buy a pizza, they have the option, if they want, to purchase a $1 slice. When they have made that purchase, that coupon is affixed to a board. The $1 slice is meant for the homeless, the hungry. They can come to the pizza shop and take that coupon to redeem that $1 coupon for a slice of pizza, to maybe help them a little bit with the hunger. What I like about this, what I like a lot about this, is that this scheme can be completely anonymous. That is, the coupons that is affixed to a corkboard, they don't need to have a name associated with them. In general, I prefer a scheme where the beneficiary has no way to repay the favor, because when people do favors for other people in expectation of payback, it lessens the authenticity of the compassion that went into wanting to help in the first place. I like it when there is no way that the recipient of the help can repay the favor, and if there are no names on the coupon, the homeless will not even know the identity of the person who has helped him or her with a slice of pizza. That's the whole idea. The pizza shop is hardly alone. In 2016, there was a pie shop that let customers pay for not just a slice of pie, but an entire pie for someone else. And these coupons are likewise posted on the wall, and they name the wall Pay It Forward, just a wordplay on Pay It Forward. So that's cool. Now, what we have talked about so far, the pizza shop and the pie shop, is something that is done as a side thing to the main activity. Main activity being to buy a whole pizza and then get a slice on the side, or buy a pie as the main purpose, the main activity, and then buy another pie to be posted on the wall. It doesn't need to manifest in that way. There are many other different possibilities. It can be, for instance, a chain. So in 2015, at a restaurant, there was a man who decided to pay for a meal at a restaurant for 6 high school kids. Now, those high school kids were not hungry or poor. They could afford their own meals, but the man was paying for them as a gesture of goodwill and kindness. The kids were so moved by this act that they asked to pay for the table's meal for the next day. So they went ahead and paid for that table as well, and it was recorded that the total strangers sitting in that table the next day will have their meals paid for. And this in turn inspired the next set of beneficiaries. So the trend continued. Another 30 people did the same thing, forming a chain. And in 2014, there's a coffee shop that has a drive-through. People would drive their cars through the coffee shop, order a coffee, pay for that. So in this particular place in 2014, one customer driving through decided to not pay for just his or her own coffee, but also pay for the next car. And then the cashier accepted that, informed the next car, your coffee has already been paid for by the previous car. Now, there's no particular reason why, it's just a gesture of kindness. But then the person in the next car decided to do the same thing for the next car. And the same thing, the cashier informed the next car and the next and the next and the next. The chain continued for 11 hours. And altogether, 378 people were involved in that chain of paying it forward. Now, what we have talked about so far, pizza, pie, meal at a restaurant, coffee, these are all things that we can consume. These are physical food, drinks, etc., that we can have. The only difference between what we're talking about now in this chapter is that we're talking about intangibles as well. It isn't just a piece of pizza or pie or a meal or a coffee that you can pay forward to someone. I'm talking about providing the Tao, sharing the Tao to other people so that it can benefit them in the hopes that they will pass it on to others in a chain, or as you see in the graphic here, in many ripples affecting other ripples. I cannot imagine something better than if we were to all be doing that. Our meeting has come to an end, but the journey continues on. Let us all travel safely so we can meet again. Until next time, may the Tao fill you with peace and happiness.